This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, my name is Christina Winstead, and I'm the Assistant Director for Outreach at the Washington Student Achievement Council. And today I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about what financial aid is and why it's so important. So financial aid, it's money to help pay for college. That's the basic nitty gritty, is that it is there to help you pay for college and also to make it more affordable. Financial aid, I know, can be very confusing. You may have heard about it recently, you might have been hearing about it all through high school. But if you are starting your senior year, it's really important for you to understand some basics about financial aid. And most importantly, that you can start applying for financial aid starting October 1st. So October 1st is when the application opens, and that's for both the FOSFA and the WAFSA. And we want to make sure you understand that it is time to apply. So when it starts getting all pumpkin spice and everything nice out there, it's time for you to start applying for financial aid. Financial aid consists of grants, work study, loans, and scholarships. So all of this works together to help you pay for college. I know college can be expensive and it can be scary to think about how much it costs. I want you to dream big and make sure that you apply for financial aid. Financial aid consists of four main categories. Like I said before, grants, scholarships, loans, and work study. Grants are income based. They come from the federal government and state government, as well as institutions. Scholarships, these are funds that you apply for separate from your financial aid application, and they are income based. They can be merit based. They can be from public, private, as well as nonprofit sources. There are scholarships for everything. There are scholarships for people who are left handed. There are scholarships for people who can make a duct tape dress, prom dress, and tux. And submit a duct tape scholarship application. There's a zombie survival scholarship. So if you like zombies, you just write a little essay on how you survive the zombie apocalypse. There are many scholarships out there, but you have to apply for them to get them. And I know that there are scholarships right now that have gone unawarded, which means no one applied for them. So I encourage you, please be the student that applies. When you apply for financial aid through the FAFSA or the WAFSA, and we'll talk more about those in a minute, you'll be applying for loans as well as grants. And loans are funds that you apply for that you have to pay back. They can be federal, they're income based, and they can also be private loans. But these are funds that you do have to pay back. And then work study. Work study is income based, it's federal, state, and institutional offered. So let's talk a little bit more about grants. Okay, grants are money that you typically don't need to pay back, unless, for example, like you withdraw from school and owe a refund, or they've refunded you money, you have to pay some of those funds back. It's called satisfactory academic progress. You don't have to worry about that right now, but I want you to know that grants are a gift aid. That is money that you don't have to pay back unless you don't meet that satisfactory academic progress. And so grants can include the Pell Grant as well as the Washington College Grant. I love grants. This is how I paid for school. So I hope that if you see a grant on your award letter when they tell you how much you're getting for college, just to like high five yourself because it means it's money you're typically not going to have to pay back. The Washington College Grant is pretty new in Washington State. It is replacing the State Need Grant, which is a grant that was available when I went to school, and it has increased the opportunities for students. There is more funding for more students in Washington State through the Washington College Grant, and it also includes approved apprenticeships as well that it funds. Grants are amazing. The next type of funds that you can apply for through financial aid are loans. And so loans, these are different than grants because you do have to pay them back. So work study, which we'll talk about in a minute, and grants, those you don't have to pay back, but loans you do have to pay back. So these are funds that you want to really think about when you're taking them out and think about how much you need, not how much you want. There are two main types of loans. There are subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans. Unsubsidized loans, these are loans that when you take out that money, the minute that that loan is dispersed, you are actually going to have to start paying interest on it. So a certain percentage of that amount of money, you're going to have to start paying. Subsidized loans, the interest is paid while you're in school and while you're enrolled at least half time. So when you're taking out loans, you want to think about making sure you take the subsidized before you take the unsubsidized. You have to pay these loans back. So you also want to think about how much do you really need, like I said before, and how much do you want? This is where you're going to really think about, because they're going to offer you large loans, amounts that you may have never seen before. And we want to make sure you know that you have to pay them back. So the other type of funding you can get through financial aid is work study. And work study provides part-time jobs. It is based on financial need and it helps you pay for your education expenses by you working on campus typically. There are jobs in tutoring, outreach, student life. I had a student that they got a work study job in student life and they put together activities for students to do. They wanted to be an event planner anyway, so it was awesome. One day she came to me and she said, "Today I just sat there and took passport cards from students where they went to each club and got a stamp to learn about that club. And then they entered into a raffle and she got to spin a prize wheel. That was the job she did that day. But she learned about catering contracts, all these other things. It was really cool for her because it went towards the world of work that she wants to go into. I've had students who've worked in computer labs, in the library is another great option. There are some really cool opportunities, fitness centers. There are a multitude of jobs that you can work for work study. The most important thing with work study is they're going to ask you on your financial aid application, do you want to be considered for work study? You can say yes, no, or I don't know. I encourage everyone to say yes. You can always decline it if you don't want to do it. But if you say no or I don't know, you may not be considered for those funds. And then there are scholarships. Scholarships are gifts that you don't have to repay. They're designed to help students. These can be one time or renewable, which means every single year you can say reapply for them. And they are designed to help students in college. They are funded by community groups, by schools, foundation scholarships from colleges. Banks have scholarships. Like I said before, there's so many scholarships out there. You just have to be the student that applies. You have to make sure that you start your scholarship search early on. So this is not something that you're going to wait until the end of your senior year. This is something I encourage you can do your junior year as well as your senior year to see what's out there. And you can start that search by going to the washboard.org. And this is a scholarship warehouse where they vet the scholarships to make sure that they know that they're actual scholarships, they're legitimate, they've been vetted, and you build a profile and it matches you to the scholarships. When applying for scholarships and financial aid, it's free. It is free to apply for financial aid. This is a free process. You're going to be applying for one of two applications, the FAFSA or the WAFSA, and you're going to learn about those in another video. I encourage you, here are some resources to learn more about financial aid. The most important takeaways today is that financial aid is free. It's free to apply for financial aid as well as for scholarships. This is money to help you pay for school, but if you don't apply, you won't be considered. Please feel free to utilize these resources, and if you have any questions, the readysetgrad.wa.gov 12th year resources, my contact information is in there, and I'm happy to help you. Thank you so much, and I encourage you, please apply for financial aid and reach out for help when you need it.